As you know, the countdown is on for the title in the 40th annual America's Junior Miss program. And the big win, of course, means big scholarship bucks for the young lady chosen as the overall winner.
We've had the pleasure of meeting some of these young ladies, and this morning we have with us Massachusetts Junior Miss Luba Manzi. Good morning, Luba.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Mobile.
Thank you.
It was interesting reading some of the information about you, and we noticed that not only are you going to Harvard University, but you have an interest in environmental law. Why?
I think it's a very pressing issue nowadays. I live in an area whose economy was ruled basically by the General Electric Company, and for many, many years they used PCBs in the production of their transformers, and they dumped those into the rivers and into the ground system, and that has caused a lot of problems. And I feel the need to help problems like those in today's society and try to correct some of the mistakes we've made in the past.
What would be some of your recommendations dealing with some of the industry and some of the major changes that they have to make? And I guess when you look at the cost at the same time, how would you rectify some of the negotiations at the table, so to speak?
I think it's important to teach companies that in the long run, it's more cost efficient to prevent major accidents than to clean them up. And I think that's hard because on a short-term basis, everybody wants to make as much money as possible. But if they realize in the long term that prevention is better, then I think they will they'll go in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we were looking over some of the other things, we noticed that you are a repeat for your family, and that your sister here was in '94. She made it to national finals. Did she give you a lot of pointers and even help you decide, out of all of your many different talents, which one to focus in on?
Well, I think my sister was always a role model for me, and just by watching her, it did help me decide how to direct my course of action here. But I think I've taken my own path as well. We're two very different people, and as much as she has helped me, I think I've gone in a different direction as well.
Mm-hmm. And as you told us earlier, this is a return trip. You had a chance to come down in '94 with your sister to the Mobile area. And what are some of the most fascinating parts of Mobile that you like, since you told me that you did enjoy coming back again?
Well, first of all, as strange as this may seem, I love the heat and humidity.
After all, it's cold up there, right?
I know. I'm always cold in Massachusetts, so it's nice to be warm down here. But it's a very beautiful area. I love the architecture. Mm-hmm. We just studied architecture in American history, and it's nice to see some of the buildings that we studied. This is very different from the north.
Well, going back to the other question about talent, what will your talent be?
I will be singing One Kiss by Sigmund Romberg and accompanying myself on the piano.
Oh, how lovely.
Now, you also play another instrument that you play quite well, I understand.
I'm a cellist as well.
How did you decide between the two to which talent to use in the Junior Miss program?
I'm not sure, but I think one factor that made a difference was lugging a cello. I would probably need a whole airplane seat to bring that down.
We're almost out of time, but very quickly, we've been asking a lot of the young ladies to share what is the issue that they see young people confronted with that they would like either young people or the adults of this nation to address.
Probably the AIDS and drugs problem. I think it's just becoming a lot more serious. Drugs have always been prevalent among young people, but because of complications with AIDS, it's just becoming a much more serious dilemma. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed.
Well, Luba, thank you so much for joining us this
morning.
morning.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure meeting.
Thank
competition, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Oh, thank you very much.
In just 4 days, the Junior Misses will be center stage. They've been working around the clock perfecting the program, but tonight they get a very special treat.
Fox 10's Krista Marino joins us now live from Fort County, where a reunion is about to take place. Krista?
That's right, Nancy. In just a few minutes, the Junior Misses will be reunited with their family. Now, as you can see behind me, some of the parents and families are trickling in, but so far, no Junior Misses. Now, this is something they've been looking forward to because they haven't seen their moms and dad for a week, and that's a big deal for them. They've been practicing around the clock, gearing up for their big performance, but they're not the only ones down to the wire. Tonight, we're going to show you a sneak peek at the man behind the music of America's Junior Miss. Meet Fred Baldwin, the man behind the melodies of America's Junior Miss.
I need you to write me an opening number for the Junior Miss. It's 40 years old this year. I said, sure.
But one number wasn't enough for this music maestro. Soon, a plethora of notes and melodies were coming to life.
She says, well, listen, I need something for the physical fitness thing. Can you do me a real 90s version of Take Me Out to the Old Ball Game? And so, you know, we sat down and I started going.
Nearly 100 hours of studio time later, Baldwin and his colleagues at Dogwood Studio have created the entire musical score, some of which needed some 90s inspiration.
I went to the beach and just turned on MTV and VH1 and started listening to things over and over and over again, trying to pick up beats.
Baldwin says the beat of the 90s set him on the right course.
And so what came out eventually was oh, 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 we're 40, oh, 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 and I thought, well, we did that and it didn't work, so we canned it. So we said, let's do some real lyrics. So finally, we ended up with, whoa, it's a party, oh, 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 and we're 40.
For the Junior Misses, it's a tune that's catching on quick.
Oh, we're 40, oh, we're 40, oh.
On Saturday night, the entire nation will hear Baldwin's creations, and for him, that's the biggest thrill of all. A very talented man indeed. And speaking of thrills, the Junior Misses are about to get their own thrills right here with their parents at Fort Condy. As soon as the reunion starts, we'll come right back. Nancy?
It's got to be a great night for the family and for the participants.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Lots of fun.
That's
you have
right.
fun, too. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Chris. The great reunion is getting started.
That's right. America's Junior Misses and their parents are arriving at Fort Condy as we speak.
Let's go back to Fox 10's Krista Marino and get in on the action. Krista?
That's right, Nancy and Nissa. So far, no Junior Misses, but the parents are anxiously awaiting here. Now, I have with me the Mathenas. They're from West Virginia, and in just a few minutes, we're going to introduce you to them. But let me tell you first, their daughter, Misty, is quite a treat. She's from West Virginia. She's a great gal. I met her this afternoon, and I want to show you her parents who are anxiously awaiting her arrival. Tell me, Joanne, how has this been for you? This is your first time to Alabama. What has this been like for you?
Oh, it's just been joy. It's what it's been. The Lord has really blessed us with a beautiful daughter, and we thank Him for it. And it's just been Southern hospitality all the way.
I know. Now, the one word that comes to mind, of course, is pride. How are you going to feel when you see your daughter Misty on stage?
Quite excited. We're hoping she represents first the Lord, the best, and then the state of West Virginia. We're very proud of her.
So she's going to arrive any minute. What are your first thoughts? You haven't seen her in a week. That's a long time.
Tell her we love her, and we're proud of her.
Well, I know she's proud to have parents such as you. You wanted to add something else, Rick?
We're going to give her a big West Virginia hug.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck to Misty. We wish her all the best. Now, as you can see, the raindrops are starting to fall out here. We're hoping that it holds fast for the big reunion, which is supposed to happen in just a few minutes.
The stage is set, the choreography complete. Now it's practice, practice, practice. Now, of course, we're talking about the countdown to the America's Junior Miss program. Our own Fox 10's Krista Marino is out at Fort Condy, where these young women are getting a well-deserved break from the work. Krista?
They are, and they're getting a well-deserved welcome, too. Jason, if you could pan on over here, we are having Mobile Mardi Gras style. As you can see, the girls are being treated to some beads, some moon pies, the whole shebang. It's been a great time out here. Now, after a long week, they're finally reunited with their biggest fans, their families. As you can well imagine, it was an exciting and emotional day. Now, it was just less than an hour ago when the ladies got to see Mom and Dad for the first time since they came to Mobile. Most of them, as you can well imagine, were more than ready for some family time. Although many of the parents have been in town since the weekend, they haven't been allowed to see their daughters. You can imagine the anticipation. And speaking of anxiously awaiting, Emily Fletcher, she's Florida's Junior Miss, is going to join me now live with her folks. Emily, I know this has been a long week without Mom and Dad. How is it to finally see them, and what'd you first tell them when you see them?
Well, I first told them that I love them, and then I told them to get ready because they were in for an amazing rest of the week and a really, really talented performance tomorrow night.
Mrs. Fletcher, I know this is such a treat, finally seeing your daughter. She's worked so hard for this. It's years of preparation, Emily, as we were talking. How does it feel to finally know she's going for the big show Saturday night?
We're just very excited to be here. We consider it an honor to be here, to be this far, and we're looking for great things out of all the girls, and especially Emily.
All right. And Mr. Fletcher?
Oh, I'm just glad to be here. it's really remarkable, all these lovely and talented ladies. I'm looking forward to the show Wednesday and Thursday and Saturday night.
And Emily, I know you are too, and so are we. Thank you so much for joining us.
Country and Western is a big draw along the Gulf Coast, so what better way for the junior misses to spend this evening? It was country line dancing and an old-fashioned barbecue for the 50 young women. All the fun began around 7 o'clock tonight at Southern Country USA in Saraland. And when in Saraland, do as the Texans do. That's why Devon Welsh, who hails from the Lone Star State, fit right in at tonight's festivities.
Coming from Texas, you'd think that I'd be a country line dancer, but actually I've never done it before, so I didn't know what to expect, but it's been lots of fun.
After more than a week away from their families, the young women were finally reunited last night at Fort Conde.
As you can see, the girls and their families had a heartfelt reunion. All were happy to see one another.
It's wonderful because I see how happy she is, and she's having a great time here. So it's wonderful to see her. We were here 3 years ago with our other daughter, so this is our second time, and it's just as great the second time around. She's having a great time here. It's a wonderful program. You are having a good time, right?
Absolutely.
Now that's Luba, who was with us yesterday, in fact. And after the reunion, the young ladies and their families were treated to more Southern hospitality.
A barbecue dinner and country line dancing lessons were just what the doctor ordered to blow off a little steam and nervousness before today's preliminaries.
I'm a little nervous. I have to go on first. I'm the very first talent, number 26, so I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm really excited. I'd love to compete and be on stage and perform in front of audiences.
And welcome back. Time check is 7:20. The countdown is on, and in just 3 more days, we'll know who is the new America's Junior Miss for 1997.
These bright and talented young ladies are competing in the America's Junior Miss program for big scholarship dollars. And this morning we get to meet California Junior Miss Selena Young, Missouri Junior Miss Julie Stewart. Good morning, ladies. Welcome to Mobile. So good to see you. And we always say so amazed, so very, very impressed with the resumes of all of the young ladies who are competing and how in the world you juggle the schedules that you juggle. Lots of volunteerism, top honors in everything, which shows the tremendous amount of time that you put into your studies. And then on top of it, you serve in so many different clubs and organizations. What do you recommend to other children out here, other young people in high school who are trying to make sure that they cover the bases, to have a good resume going into college? What do you recommend to them on how to achieve all of this and maintain those high grades?
Well, most importantly, I think, is to take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there. When you see something that seems interesting and you're not sure whether you want to do it or not, go for it, try it, and you might like it.
I think if you stay busy in high school, you're going to have a lot more fun doing it, and also stay very organized, and my roommate can tell you about that. But stay organized is the main thing.
One of the keys. Now, what's the motivation? Do you all find out about these programs yourself, or your parents tell you about them, or friends who are involved? How do you find out about all these different things that are available for people to get involved in at the high school age?
Well, sometimes it's really easy to find. People just tell you about them. And other times it's not as easy. You have to check up on the internet and look up in books and sometimes read the newspaper about different things you can get involved in.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know exactly what you're getting yourself into. But it's usually a lot of fun, so try to stay involved, and you meet a lot of great people through it.
It was interesting seeing that both of you are very interested in becoming physicians.
Yes.
And you in particular want to go into television work, which is really great. Why did you both find yourselves drawn to that as a profession to pursue?
I was really drawn to the medical field. I at first wanted to become a physical therapist, but that field, it seems to be closing, and in the next couple years, by the time I get out of college, it's going to be really closed in. And I was in the doctor this year because I had mono. So my doctor and I had some conversations about careers, and he said to go ahead and go for medical school, that it's a lot easier to get into now.
So, and do you know what aspect of medicine that you're interested in?
Possibly pediatrics.
Oh, good.
And I'm also interested in either pediatrics or geriatrics. And then also for the past 2 years, since I was working as the teen reporter for San Francisco North Bay's Evening News, I got interested in the media. And so I thought that even though I was still interested in medicine, I could combine them and do TV medical reporting and hopefully help a lot more people that way.
Yeah, we see a lot of that happening today, and it's very important to have that background that you would have in medicine as compared to just a regular reporter talking about the information. What are some of the areas that you all see that need to be addressed as it relates to our young people today, especially as, say, maybe your platform if you are America's Junior Miss this year?
I think trying to boost the self-esteem of young people is very important. And I think that can be done through the family structure, from parents who can be supportive and show their kids that if they go for something, they should try it and not, fear of failing. And I think it's important just to do that because that'll get rid of all the other problems we see with kids turning to gangs and things like that.
Yes, as America's Junior Miss, we're encouraged to the Be Your Best Self program, and it encourages young children to be their best self, not the best that society puts on you, but just in your opinion, how you feel that you're doing your best.
Well, thank you both
Do
for joining us this
appreciate
morning.
it.
We do, and much success.